Hello everyone and welcome back to Review of Your Week. It's the host, it's your host James, and we're joined by Alistair yet again this week to talk about Syria.
Yeah, before we do that, I just want to make it clear, I am not a socialist.
No,
right?
alright, fair enough.
Because you put on your thing, a lib and a sock. I'm not a bloody socialist, I'm a liberal as much as you're a conservative, right?
Yep, you're a communist, right, okay, so, what's happened? Well, us, the French and Donald Trump. What's the French guy's name? Macron. Yeah, idiot.
Macron. He's better than Le Pen.
No, he's not. We blew up Syria a little bit after they started. Well, they allegedly started dropping chemicals.
Now that's your opinion on it, James, isn't it?
No.
So, James, explain to people what your opinion is on this.
No, the straight up facts are Assad could have used chemical weapons on his people.
I think he did.
And yeah, well, but where's the proof?
There
isn't any. Right, okay.
Look at his past record, James. Look at his past record.
I'm not looking at his past
record.
He's
killed his own citizens. They started a civil war against him, James. He's not a nice man.
I never said he's nice, but there's no proof that he did it. And based on this flimsy evidence, we started bombing. So my personal opinion is we shouldn't be bombing him at all because he's democratically elected. At the same time, yes, he is a psychopath.
He's a psychopath.
But there's no proof he started doing these chemical attacks.
No, James, the reason why we bombed him is because we repeatedly tried to, in 1 week, the UN tried to make a vote on people. We wanted to investigate the chemical weapons attacks that took place in a name I can't pronounce, like some Khan Cyclone or something like that.
Yes, and the day before the chemicals people were supposed to go in and see if Assad did it, we started bombing him.
No,
That's
James,
exactly what happened.
James, we started bombing him because Russia vetoed that thing like 8-9 times.
Yeah, so where's the proof that he did these chemical attacks? It's non-existent.
James, the simple fact is that Russia, right, was vetoing
It's non-existent, Alistair. You can't
Syria,
just bomb
Syria
people
does
based
not
on
have
no
the power
evidence.
to veto something, all right? If Syria had the power to veto something, Assad would veto that like hell. He does not have the power to veto something, so therefore
Why are you speculating?
a country close to Syria... Okay, if a country close to Syria starts vetoing it 8 or 9 times, okay, that sort of shows that something's not going very right there. So we couldn't go in there demographically and peacefully. We had to use force. And by the way,
the Russians turned up with all the hazmat suits and stuff, ready to conduct a test to see if it was Assad. And
no, the Russians vetoed it, James. They didn't want to do it.
Well, you've got your facts wrong there, Alistair.
I haven't got my facts wrong.
Yes, you have.
I haven't.
Yes, you have. The Russians were there. With all their chemical testing stuff, and the day before they went into Duma to check the chemicals, we started bombing them. And they've only started testing the chemicals yesterday after we stopped bombing them. So we rushed into this, head forth, with no evidence and no clear direction of what we're actually supposed to be doing, apart from chucking some bombs over, and nothing's happened, apart from the fact that they delayed the chemical inspections test, and we still don't know whether Assad actually dropped those gas bombs.
Well, I mean, he probably did, James.
Oh, he probably did.
He probably did.
And where's the proof? It's probable that someone murdered this person. So there's no proof, but we'll send him to prison anyway. Yeah, that isn't how it works, is it?
No, James. Listen, okay. If a country that doesn't have the democratic power, okay, to say no to something. Look, people are getting killed in the end of this, James. People are getting chemically attacked. Assad has been in this war, this civil war for years.
And? There's no proof that he did these
killing
attacks,
his own
so we
people.
can't just bomb him.
He's a complete
Where's the proof? Where's the proof?
First of all, I need to say that I'm sort of on the fence with this. I'm just sort of playing devil's advocate to James because he's very...
Well, you're evidently on the fence because you're literally making no sense whatsoever. There's no proof that Assad did any of this. Therefore, we shouldn't be bombing him until we have the proof. And we were about to get the proof, and the day before we got the proof, we started bombing him. So I'm not saying don't bomb him, I'm saying bomb him when we have proof, and we haven't got any proof, so therefore it's unjustified. And we've broken international law, unfortunately.
Well, Trump has. We didn't really have any choice, we just sort of had to follow him into it.
No, we didn't. Theresa May had a choice. Theresa May had an absolute perfect choice, and she decided to go bombing him.
We were sort of brought into it because we want to keep allies with Trump.
There was no obligation.
There was no obligation.
Why didn't Germany
it's
start
the same
bombing?
sort of obligation as
why didn't Israel
as when Bush went and attacked Iraq? Okay, stupid idiot, and Tony Blair sort of had to go along with him.
No.
I've
actually changed my opinions quite a lot on Iraq and Afghanistan and all that.
Have you?
Yeah.
Are you pro Iraq now?
Well, I think we should have got... Have you seen a film called 12 Strong?
No, I've not.
It's got Thor in it. What's his name? Chris Hemsworth.
Chris Hemsworth.
And it's a true story about the first 12 soldiers that went into Afghanistan after 9/11. And it completely changed my opinion on all of it, and I think we should definitely blow them all to hell.
Well, but James, these were like... These are just
terrorists,
fundamentalist,
terrorists.
like Al Qaeda terrorists. That's not justifiable to go and bomb a country.
Yes, you're right. It's not justifiable to go bomb a country until we have proof. So you're agreeing with me.
No, but James, look, you. No, we don't have solidified proof. Okay,
right,
but the
right.
fact, but James, the thing about it is though that he's done so many atrocities, right? He's tortured so many people. He's killed so many of his own citizens. That is pretty conclusive that it was him. Okay,
no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It makes it more likely. It's not conclusive that it was him.
Exactly.
Is it?
It makes him a hell of a lot more likely.
It makes him more likely. It doesn't make it him.
If I've got a gun, okay, and I go around shooting people, and then someone dies in my vicinity of a headshot, and then I say, oh no, it definitely wasn't me. I haven't got any proof. Okay, it might not have been me, but do you know
what would happen?
It sort of tips the balance in my favour that it was me.
The police would go in there and they'd check the bullet inside the guy's head. They'd check the exit wound and they'd check the barrel of the gun which he probably had, and then they say, yeah, it was him.
But and
that was about to happen in Syria.
What if the police were on my side? What if the police were on my side and the police had vetoed normal policemen from going in there 8 times?
But that's just the Russians were going to go in to check the
the Russians. I'm not particularly trusting of the Russians after they vetoed this proposal to go in and investigate the chemical attacks 8 times.
They were the ones who were going in to check the chemicals, Alistair. You've got your facts wrong.
Exactly. That's why I'm sceptical of it.
So you don't want it to be checked. You just want them to get.
No,
bombed.
I don't want to be checked by the Russians. I want to be checked by the proper UN. I don't want it to be checked by people. I'm going to keep repeating
the proper
this.
UN. It's just the proper UN who are literally allowing one country to veto their entire operation.
Exactly, that's undemocratic.
They sound clever. Those UN.
That's
people.
completely undemocratic.
It's completely stupid. So
it is completely stupid.
We can't just go around bombing people based on no evidence.
It's like what's wrong with the EU is the fact it was incredibly undemocratic, but we're not going into that.
No, the problem with the EU is it's full of frogs and they're all stupid.
No. The problem with the EU is the fact that it isn't democratic. The fact that it's sovereign over our laws. I was pro-Remain because I liked the fact that it helped our economy out.
It didn't help
free
our
trade.
economy
We were in
out.
a trade bloc.
We just had to pay even more money to them, and half of our stuff went to them.
James, we got subscribed to 700 different trade agreements through being in the EU.
And?
What do you mean, and?
Did we have
them
before 1970?
Are you telling me that's not good for trade?
Did we have
700 agreements?
Did we have them before 1970?
All the EU is a massive big capitalist trade bloc.
Did we have them before 1970? No. Were we trading with other countries before 1970? Yes. Therefore, they're unnecessary.
Yeah, but James, look how much things have progressed since then. Since joining the EU. Technology has gone off the charts. Our economy has gone off the charts.
Yeah, you're right. It's gone so low down the charts because of the fucking Labour government, you fool.
Apart from the deep depression that we went in the Labour government, yes,
the biggest
that's because of Tony Blair.
History. The biggest depression in history.
No, the reason for that depression, James, was because of the Iraq War. Okay,
no, it wasn't.
It wasn't. War is good for countries that produce lots of weapons. We don't produce many weapons. Okay,
yes, we do.
No,
we're
we
the
don't.
6th largest arms.
Not in comparison to America or any other big manufacturers like China.
We are the
don't.
6th largest in the world out of a few hundred countries. Therefore, we're quite large. So everything you just said is false. Because the Labour Party, the only people who have ruined this country in the past few years, the depression wasn't due to the war.
They're not the only
people.
Those
stupid people who decided to throw money in the NHS and let migrants in left, right, and centre, and give them all housing, give them all healthcare, and give all their kids education. That's why it's screwed up. And the EU looked at us and said, "All right, let's screw them," just like they did with Greece. They're a bunch of idiots, Alistair, and we had to leave as soon as possible because if we were still there now, things would be going downhill. And there'd be more war in Syria because the EU would be on our side supporting the US, and everything would be absolutely worse.
Yeah, but
it's as simple as that. There's no two ways about it.
James, that is all speculation.
That's not speculation.
That is complete speculation.
It's speculation like, oh yeah, the Syrians did this. Where's the proof?
No, James.
Oh, there is no
James,
proof.
James,
it's all
James,
speculation.
Let's
It's all
finish the EU. Let's finish the
speculation,
EU. Let's finish the EU
It's all
before
speculation.
you link back to that. Okay, that's complete speculation. There's no way whatsoever that will come true at all.
Well, yeah, it's not going to come true because we left.
And hell, we haven't even left the EU yet. So,
well, we're going to.
I mean, I don't know what this is all about. The EU being on our side. We haven't even left them yet. They're still sovereign over us.
And yeah, exactly. So let's pretend.
So I'm left. So in fact, what you said was false. It's just complete speculation.
What are you talking about? If that vote never happened,
what I'm talking about is
you're spouting rubbish as per usual.
As per usual, am I? You can't accept anyone else's opinion.
We both know.
We
both know that there's no proof, and that we have no right because there's no proof to bomb Syria.
No. There's nothing proof, but affirmative action had to be taken.
Why?
Because James, this civil war is coming to a close, all right?
Yeah. So why would Assad use? Yeah. So
because Assad might have won, and that wouldn't have been good.
Why would Assad use chemicals against his own people if this war was coming to a close?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
He has killed hundreds of thousands of his own people.
He's winning
James.
a war. Why would he
killed
start
hundreds of thousands of
killing
his own people.
He's winning a war. Why would he do this? This makes no sense.
Because James, he's killed hundreds of thousands of people. What's saying that he's not going to go and kill any more people? Okay.
Because he's almost won the war. The city that he potentially gassed they were literally just won over by the Syrian government. So why would he start bombing it? It makes no sense. Do you know what probably happened? What do you think happened? Was some rebels or some psychos nicked a helicopter with these gas cannons in and started going around shooting people.
James, let's say that that these people, okay, it was rebels who did it. Don't you think that even the fact that it is rebels is that there's enough proof for us to go and investigate?
And we were investigating until you started dropping bombs on us.
Investigating by the Russians.
Yeah, and it's still an investigation. Some investigation is better than no investigation, as far as I'm concerned.
Some investigation by people who possibly have ties to the country in question, possibly have ties to the leader, I don't think is better at all.
Well, I'd rather support the Russians killing ISIS and Al Qaeda and whatnot.
No, don't get me wrong. The Russians have done good than that. But I don't like the idea of people who have I'm going to keep repeating this, vetoed, okay, something by everyone else, who everyone else agreed to, by the way, okay, who vetoed something in an undemocratic manner 8 times in 1 week.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I don't like the idea of their policemen being on the policemen that are going to investigate whether the headshot was done.
Okay, so let's pretend we're Russian and our country's been doing something for the benefit of our people. Why, if a US or a UK chemicals team turned up and said we were going to investigate, would you trust them? No, you wouldn't. There's mutual distrust, and therefore some investigation by either side is better than none.
So, well, why can't the UN just send investigators out that are standalone? Why does it have to be Russian?
Well, they have. That's what they've done. The Russians turned up with a chemicals team, and that's part of the UN security forces. And then Trump and Theresa May started launching bombs for no apparent reason.
Well, that's what I've never liked Trump, James, and you've known that.
Yeah, you're the one arguing that we should bomb these
people.
No,
I'm being devil's advocate, James. I've said this. I'm on the centre in this issue. I'm
right. What we're saying is
so what there's no point in me coming there and just agreeing with you, is there?
Well,
I'm on the centre.
No, I know
I'm the centre ground.
Anyway, right. So moving on a little bit.
What are we moving on to?
We're going to move on to the overall question: what's going to happen after we win the war in Syria? Well, I say we. I mean,
Trump.
Assad.
Oh, well, when Assad wins the war,
which will be very soon.
I'm not particularly sure, because a lot of the time when you've got dictators and people in civil wars, a lot of the times in history the good guys have always won. Like, we beat Hitler. Well, good guys subjective to us. We beat Hitler. Okay. The Cold War just sort of fizzled out in the end. We beat Germany the first time. Okay, America. I think America was sort of in the right for independence. Okay, they won their little bout with us, and the Korean War, the other major big war that happened in the last 100 or so years, just came to a standstill. So I'm really not sure of what is going to happen to Syria. What do you think?
I want Russia. Excuse me. I want Russia to go in there with Assad and just take control of the entire region and have some stability for once.
What, really?
Instead of some crazy warlords running around on horses, hacking each other's heads off because they're barbaric fools.
Do you really want a psycho to?
Well, I'd rather